Hello, my fellow breeders. Welcome back to Canaral Santos Costa, the lost canary, a 100-year search. Imagine one of the rarest and most beautiful birds in the world, a canary that history considered completely extinct. For almost a century, it was just a legend, a ghost on the pages of ornithology books. This breed, my friends, is the London Fancy. It's a bird that defies nature itself, a true work of art that seemed lost forever. The world of ornithology mourned its extinction. Nobody believed we would see a specimen again, much less that I would have one in my aviary. But the story of this bird, which many considered a myth, is being rewritten. So, get ready, because what I'm about to share with you is unprecedented. And I promise that if you stay with me until the end, you will discover the secret of this breed that is shocking the world of canary breeding. If you haven't already, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any part of this journey. Why did I fall in love with an extinct bird? You must be asking yourselves, Canaral, why such an obsession with a breed that barely exists? The answer, my friends, is simple. The London Fancy isn't just a bird, it's a story of resilience. When I started my journey in the world of birds, I heard about legendary canaries, but the London Fancy was different. It was a challenge. A canary that, despite all its beauty, was unable to withstand time and lack of attention. This sparked an enormous curiosity in me, a desire to understand what happened and, more importantly, to be part of its rediscovery. It's not about having the rarest bird, but about participating in something bigger, a historical recovery. It's the chance to honor the old breeders and show the world that beauty can be saved. And the most exciting thing is knowing that every chick born in my aviary is a piece of that story being retold. The heroic act that resurrected a breed. The story of the London Fancy is a saga of persistence, and its hero is not who you'd expect. After decades of failure, several breeders tried and failed to recreate the breed. It took one man, a Dutchman named Piet Renders, who, with an almost unbelievable dedication, decided to delve into the past and unlock the genetic secrets that no one else could. Imagine the scene. He crossed a lizard canary, a breed believed to have a genetic link to the original London Fancy, with a colored canary that, of all things, had recessive genes. That was the turning point. What followed was a series of methodical crosses and years of patience. Renders' perseverance paid off. In 2003, he achieved what everyone thought was impossible. He created a specimen that became the progenitor of all modern London Fancies. It's because of him that today this breed has new color combinations that the original breed never had. It's a true miracle of genetics and passion, and proof that the dedication of a single breeder can change the fate of a species. The first generation in my aviary, where the magic begins. And after all that history, the saga of the London Fancy made its way to my aviary. The emotion of seeing the first eggs, of watching them hatch, is something I can't even describe. But the real magic, the part that got me addicted, happens later. The first clutch of London Fancy I had here. I'll be honest, in the nest, they are identical to a common melanic canary. Those dark, dull chicks that give no hint of what they will become. You have to have faith, and I did. What you're seeing on the screen now is the result. This is my first generation of London Fancy. They are living proof that history repeats itself, and that a breeder's patience is rewarded. It's an indescribable feeling, the sensation of holding living history in your hands. And they are the first part of a project that will bear fruit for many years to come. London Fancy versus Lizard. Brothers separated at birth? This is the part that truly shocks most breeders. As I mentioned, the London Fancy and lizard canaries are historically linked, but the connection goes much deeper. In the nest, my friends, it's practically impossible to tell them apart. London Fancy chicks, just like lizard chicks, are born with dark skin, black nails, and a dark beak. This characteristic is a kind of genetic signature that points to a common origin. It's as if they were brothers separated at birth. The difference only reveals itself during the first molt when the plumage begins to change, but the fact that their appearance in the nest is nearly identical has fueled a heated debate in the ornithological community for years. It's living proof of the complexity of avian genetics and the mystery that still surrounds these ancient breeds. The surprising metamorphosis, from dark chick to bird of light. The beauty of the London Fancy isn't a given, it's earned. This is the most shocking part for those unfamiliar with the breed. Those melanic chicks that look so common in the nest go through a true metamorphosis. During the first molt, they start losing the dark pigmentation on their body and head. Slowly, the black plumage gives way to a vibrant yellow or a stunning white, keeping only the feathers on the wings and tail with the original dark color. The most incredible part is that this process continues during the second molt. The bird that was a spangleback in its first year, with a few dark spots on its body, can become a classic specimen in its second year, almost perfectly clean of melanin. This evolution is what makes breeding the London Fancy so fascinating and, at the same time, unpredictable. The challenge: only 20% make it. And what happens to the others? Now comes the controversial and, at the same time, most challenging part of breeding the London Fancy. Most people think that if you cross two high-quality specimens, you will get equally perfect chicks. Unfortunately, in the case of the London Fancy, the reality is cruel and fascinating. The statistic is brutal. Only 20% of the chicks may, in the future, display the ideal phenotype for exhibitions, that canary perfectly clean of melanin on its body. The remaining 80%? These are birds that do not meet the standard. About 30% will be the so-called spanglebacks, with dark spots on their backs, and the remaining 50% are melanic birds that never lose their pigmentation. This means that with every clutch, you face a genetic roulette. The frustration of having a beautiful bird that doesn't fit the standard is real, but it's also what makes the challenge so addictive. Judging standard: the details that define perfection. For those who want to take London Fancy breeding seriously, understanding the judging standard is crucial. This is where the dream meets reality. What a judge looks for is perfection in imperfection. The main point is the contrast. The body plumage must be as clean and free of melanin as possible, in an intense and uniform yellow or white, dramatically contrasting with the feathers of the wings and tail, which must be as black as coal. The beak and nails must also be dark, almost black, reinforcing the purity of the concentrated melanism. The ideal bird is one that looks like a two-color, monochromatic work of art. Only one detail can penalize the bird: any trace of melanin on the body or head. Therefore, breeding is a game of patience, a true genetic challenge that demands dedication and a clinical eye for detail. The fatal mistake I almost made in breeding this bird. Breeding the London Fancy is a minefield, and I almost made a mistake that would have cost years of work. The great danger lies in diet. The rule is simple and controversial. This breed cannot, under any circumstances, receive food rich in carotenes, such as paprika or carrots. Why? Because the London Fancy is a lipochromic canary, and carotene interferes with the purity of the color. The worst part is that for a breeder accustomed to other breeds, the temptation is great. I myself have put my hand on the jar of vitamin supplements, thinking, maybe a little won't hurt. But it would. A small dietary mistake can ruin the plumage, staining the pure white or yellow with undesirable orange tones. The beauty of the London Fancy is fragile and requires constant vigilance. It's a reminder that with great beauty comes great responsibility. My next goal: the future of the London Fancy in Brazil/Europe. The London Fancy isn't just a bird in my aviary. It's my mission. My goal now is clear: to help solidify the presence of this breed in Brazil or Europe, ensuring its future is more secure than its past. For this, the next step is crucial: the rigorous selection of my stock. I need to choose the birds with the strongest genetics and the characteristics closest to the ideal standard for breeding, ensuring that the offspring become more and more perfect. And this is where your help comes in. Breeding is a community, and I want to share every step of this journey with you. I want you to see the evolution, celebrate every achievement, and understand the value this breed brings to our world. Together, we can ensure the London Fancy never becomes just a legend again. Final summary and call to action. To close, my friends, the story of the London Fancy is proof that passion and persistence can resurrect even what seemed lost forever. We saw how a legendary bird came back to life thanks to the dedication of one breeder. We saw the incredible metamorphosis that makes it unique, and the challenge of breeding a race where genetics is a true roulette. In my aviary, this is not just a bird, it's a legacy, and I want you to be a part of it. If this journey has inspired you, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next steps of this project. Leave your like to show that this type of content is relevant to you and, most importantly, leave a comment with your opinion or suggestions. Let's build the future of this incredible breed together. Happy breeding or molting to everyone, and a big hug.